Hello, this is Goose. Welcome back to another edition of Dark Souls 3 for Elden Ring players. Today I want to start off by commenting on how this game is a little different from Elden Ring. Already some of the stuff I mentioned is that there is no jumping animations. And the levels are not open world, but they're still full of missable locations. So you gotta be on your toes at all times. And also, we cannot change the art of war on weapons like we can in Elden Ring. So it makes it super important that you like the moveset of your weapon, especially the art of war. And also, in case you were wondering, yes, we can respec your stats later on in the game, but you can only do it 5 times per playthrough. So if you plan on changing your stats like in and out all the time, you can only do it 5 times per playthrough, but then you get another additional 5 times on New Game Plus, and so on and so on. The reason that I wanted to mention this is because in this playthrough I'm going to be leveling up a strength-based character. But if you're doing a dexterity build or a magic build, or you could spec into those at your own will. You could follow along with me if you want, and then respec into it later. But honestly, there's no bad character in this game as long as you're comfortable with the weapon set that you want to use. So, last time we left off at the Undead Settlement, but I returned to Firelink Shrine to upgrade my character. And these are the stats that I'm currently holding with this character. Also, another thing that I did is I bought a torch. Some of these areas could be a little hard to see, and so I bought this torch just to be able to look at the dark locations. You don't have to buy this item. For the most part, you could go around the game and manage on your own. But since I'm doing this walkthrough, I bought it so that you guys could see where it is I'm going. Another thing that I bought is a light crossbow. Now, in the previous installment of this walkthrough, we got the longbow. We picked up the longbow. And you're welcome to use the longbow if you have the dexterity to use it. You can even use it if you don't have the dexterity. You just won't be doing a lot of damage. But to be honest, we're not going to be using the bow or the ranged weapon to do damage. We just want to bring down items that are out of our reach, or to lure in other enemies. Alright, and this is my current stats. We're going to go ahead and get started. Before we head back to the Undead Settlement, we're gonna go defeat this guy, the sword master that we left out of the Firelink Shrine. Just in case any of you guys want to use the Ujigatana that he drops, it's actually a pretty good dexterity based weapon if you guys want to equip that. So, this fog wall that we're looking at actually isn't a boss. It's just this game loading in the outside portion of Firelink Shrine. And this is the only place where that actually happens. I've never seen that load screen anywhere else, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So we've actually leveled up a few levels now, and this guy is doable now. He's not as hard as we would have been if we faced him from the beginning. Just watch out when he has his sword sheath. He could parry you, and if he parries you, he'll riposte you. So just be careful with this guy. We got a good parry on him. And there it is. He drops his master's attire, the master's glove, and an Ujigatana. Now, as far as stats go, the attire's not the best, but it's pretty skimpy if you have a female character and you want to be skimpy with her. So now that we have that weapon, we can go ahead and head back towards the Undead Settlement. And we actually haven't talked to this guy since the last time. We defeated Vort of the Boreal Valley. So I think he has new dialogue. Let's go ahead and talk to this guy.
What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking truly. What a sick...
Actually, I think he has the same dialogue. So, in case you were wondering, we saved an NPC in the last playthrough, and this is where he is now. He gave us a ring. We still have a side mission for him. We have to deliver a ring to Lorreta, and he's gonna be a merchant.
Hello, you're back.
You could buy items from him, including some light gear and some fire arrows, some bolts. I would recommend possibly arrows for right now, and maybe this hood in case you want to hide your face and look like a thief. It actually looks pretty cool on your character.
Goodbye.
Alright, let's get on to the Undead Settlement. Alright, now starting off in this Undead Settlement, you could see off in the distance in that tower, there's a giant that shoots a bow. And he can be a friendly giant if you talk to him before you head out towards the area where he's shooting the bow at. And we're gonna try to make it all the way out there. That'll probably be the last thing that we do in this installment of the walkthrough. Alright, so we'll pick up this item. I also forgot to mention, while you're at Firelink Shrine, don't forget to upgrade your Estus Flask, and to upgrade your Estus Flask with the Blacksmith, and to upgrade the Estus Flask in the Bonfire, so that it can heal you a lot better. Now these dogs could be kind of annoying, but remember you have a fire weapon and they have a staggering animation. Just try to take them out while there's still some of these zombie characters. That way they're not so difficult. Now the game wants us to go in this direction, and we will, but before we go there, we're gonna go to the edge of this cliff to talk to our second NPC. Head on to the left of this carriage and walk slowly so that you don't alert these dogs. And they won't have to scare you. So we're going to be seeing a lot of these characters. These are called pilgrims. And they come from a land called Londor. And they're all pretty much dead. They're dead here, except for one of them, which we are going to find right here.
Please, grant me death. Undo my shackles. Oh, then it's true. A champion of Ash as I live and breathe. To be in your presence is a great honor. I am Yoel of Londor, a pilgrim, as you can see, only somehow I failed to die as was ordained. Well, perhaps my calling lies elsewhere. Say, champion of Ash, how does the idea of taking me into your service strike you? I was once a sorcerer. Surely I can be of use. Oh, I am honored, truly. I should be dead, yet you have granted me purpose anew. I, Yoel of Londor, do solemnly swear myself to you.
So that NPC there, he's actually kind of mischievous. He plays an important role in the outcome of the entire game. And by following his quest line, we'll be able to unlock 2 of the 3 endings. So you don't have to do his quest line, but we're going to go ahead and do it because you'll have access to all 3 endings if you complete his quest line. And we'll go back to Firelink Shrine later to talk to him later on in this playthrough. So we're gonna go ahead and open the gate, and we'll get our second checkpoint here pretty soon. And if you're wondering how I'm doing that jump attack, it's not actually a jump attack. It's the running heavy attack for this weapon. We're gonna head off to the left. And you'll see that some of these areas can get kind of dark, like inside of that house. Now the game is going to lead you towards the left here to go down these stairs, but I usually go to the right because there's a little guy hanging out in the roof, and he could definitely do a little jump scare on you if you're not careful. Oh, he fell out. Boom. Much easier that way. So we're going to head off to the balcony, and here in this balcony, make sure to cut down this body that's hanging. We're gonna find an item on it, but we'll get to it when we get to downstairs area. Also, there's a guy around this corner. I don't know if you noticed him when we were walking outside. Just make sure he doesn't scare you. Repair powder. Now the repair powder is not specifically useful in this game. It does exactly what it says. It repairs your weapons and armor, but you're not going to really encounter anything that's going to make your weapons degrade super fast, unless you use a weapon that uses a Art of War that causes it to degrade faster. And we'll probably show you some weapons like that later on. Now, this next area is kind of tricky. The game leads you to go down these stairs, but there's 3 of these little guys that could jump on you and start attacking you at the same time. You can find one of them right below me there. So I'm gonna do a plunge attack on him. The second one is right behind this cart. And the third one is up on the rafters over there. You could barely see him. It's easier to take them out one by one because that way they don't group up on you. So now that we're outside, we could pick up that item that was dropped. And it's Lorreta's bone. If you remember from the previous installment, we were looking for a person named Lorreta that Gray wanted us to give us a ring, and you could see Lorreta probably didn't make it. That's probably her inside of this body bag there. So later on in the game, we'll go back and we'll talk to Grey Rat and we'll hand him this bone to see what it says. Now you'll see all these guys praying. You don't want to call all of them to you at once. So what I usually do is I equip my fire bombs, and I throw them at those barrels that they're standing next to, which will explode. So let's go ahead and throw that. Boom. And also you could do that to the barrels in the far distance there. There you go. And we're gonna equip, actually we have a bow now, so we're gonna go ahead and shoot these guys to lure them at us. Now you want to be careful here because that big person that's by the tree, once she stops spraying and starts coming at you, they'll all come at you at the same time. So you want to get the stragglers in the back and clear up some space for you to fight her. She's not particularly hard, but she can be a little intimidating. Alright, so now that she's all clear, we're gonna head up to her. We can even backstab her right away. Just be careful because you might also aggro some of the characters that are around. Like this guy right behind me. She's especially vulnerable to backstabs, and you can easily get behind her if you just avoid her attacks or use your shield. Alright, we're gonna pick up a few items that are in this location, starting with this one. And there's also an item behind the tree and above the tree. Now, if you don't have this crossbow that I picked up, you can equip the bow that we picked up in the previous installment, and you could just shoot this body bag from there. It doesn't need to do a lot of damage to the body bag, but it's just to bring it down. Pick up all these items. Now from here, you have two choices. You could either go across this bridge over here, or you could go into this town area. In order not to back travel too much, we're gonna go into this town area and unlock some of the passageways here, but eventually we're gonna opt to go across the bridge first. So we're gonna go unlock all of the stuff that you can find here. You might recognize the moveset of these little guys. They are like they're kind of like the stone enemies that you find in Elden Ring in a lot of the dungeons in the catacombs. They have the same moveset, but they're actually a lot easier than those guys because they're not made of stone and they stagger a lot easier. So I don't think there's any items here. No, I just wanted to take them out because they kind of set up a trap for you later on. So we'll go around and alright, so from here we can open this door here. Now there's an item hanging from these bodies. And another item over here. Just be careful because these people that are inside of this cage here, that's actually an enemy, so it's gonna scare you if you're not prepared for it. Just go ahead and stab it. It'll die right away. And there's another area here that you could drop down to. From here we're gonna pick up a Warrior of Sunlight medal, which is the currency to upgrade the Covenant for the Sunlight Covenant. Here we'll find some Estus soup, And that Estes soup you'll find is actually a signifier, meaning that seed word of Katarita has been here. Now the game wants you to go down in this direction, and you don't have to go down in this direction like I'm doing right now. I just want to show you this red-eyed enemy so that you can know where this is later on when we come back through the other side. So just remember this red-eyed enemy. He is in this hallway here. Alright, now we're gonna backtrack a little and go across the wooden bridge. Alright, here we are across the wooden bridge now. And I like to close the distance for these enemies right away because they start throwing items at you. And go head into these stables. Now this area is littered with those little hooded creatures. Just make sure you take care of them because they'll start shooting you from far away. We want to go ahead and open this door. We're gonna backtrack here again a little bit, but before we do, we want to pick up the checkpoint, which is in that archway down below. You could see it from here. We're gonna drop down from there. Now the game wants us to cross that bridge, but if you cross that bridge, those guys that are standing up above, they're gonna start hurling bombs at you and you're gonna explode. So I find it's easier just to head down to the area below just by jumping down and grabbing that checkpoint really quick. Before you do that, we're gonna pick up this item, and be careful with the guy in the roof. He's gonna start shooting little projectiles on you. You can just block them with your shield. He'll come down later. So this is the area that you want to unlock. You just head in this direction and then fall like that. Careful because there's another enemy that attacks you. Pick up a Titanite shard, and we're gonna head out in this direction. If you need to rest, you can more welcome to rest here. But since we're gonna be backtracking, I want to keep all the enemies that are already dead. Just keep them dead. And we're gonna head off in this direction now. Climb on top of the roof. And we're gonna bring down this item here. It's a spear item. Spear is actually a pretty good weapon in this game, just like it is in Elden Ring. You could still attack while you have your guard up. I find it a little boring, but it's still an effective weapon. Be careful with these guys. Now here we're gonna meet our Pyromancer teacher. We're gonna go ahead and unlock him. Just all you have to do is talk to him and accept him. Pyromancy is actually a separate type of magic in this game. You can't hurl pyromancy with your miracles or with your magic spells. So it's actually a pretty good, useful build. It's basically a free weapon on your offhand. It's light, it doesn't take any weight, and most builds can use it effectively as a support weapon.
Aha, unkindled, are we? Welcome to my abode. I am Cornix, an old pyromancer. A crow in his cage, as you see now. But here we are. An encounter for the ages. I hear the unkindled make for fine vessels. Care to learn some pyromancies from this old man? Most wise. A chance encounter should not be squandered. To reiterate, I am Cornix of the Great Swamp. The pleasure is mine.
Alright, so he disappeared. You can meet him again in the Firelink Shrine, and he'll hand you some pyromancy. And we'll get to him later on. So from here, we're gonna head back downstairs, and we can go ahead and defeat this big guy here. These guys are actually somewhat hard. They don't stagger very easily, so they try not to face them head on. Just get a few hits and then hit them from the side. Watch out with these barrels though, because they're full of oil, and if your weapon hits them, you will also explode. Before we go in that direction, we're gonna pick up a few items, including this fire clutch ring that this guy has. Now the fire clutch ring is actually pretty good. You do more fire damage, which we're using right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and equip it. But you also take more damage by means of lowering your damage absorption. So now we're gonna head back in this direction, only because I want to unlock another covenant that is somewhat hidden in this location. So instead of going across the bridge, we're gonna go behind these barrels, which is somewhat of a hidden area. Be careful with all these little guys. They're going to try to make you kind of panic, but even if they hit you with their darts, they're not too powerful. Just be careful. They're kind of waiting for you to fall into their trap. Just kind of stay on the move, and if you stay on the move, they won't hit you too much. Alright, so now we can pick up a few items here. Some more fire bombs. The thrall hood. And if you head behind this cottage here, you'll find the plank shield and another enemy. I'm not sure why this enemy is here. He doesn't really serve a purpose. He's kind of out of the way as well, but I'm gonna kill him anyways. There you go. And one more thrall once you climb up the stairs. Oh wait, there's an item right here. So once you get to the top of this cottage, you can fall back down, but on this side of the cottage, which is another location, and you'll find another one of these big guys. Don't attack this big guy. He's actually a little bit different than the other ones. If you notice, when I get close to him, it says I can examine his cage, which we will do, but not yet. Before we do that, we're gonna grab this item here. This item is actually quite annoying because it tends to fall into the cliff, and then you have to go all the way around to pick it up. So what I like to do is I like to climb on these rocks and get pretty close to it. Just be careful not to fall, and as it's falling, you could probably pick it up really quick. I'm gonna try to do it. If not, we'll pick it up in another run. Oh, there it is. It fell. The annoying thing about that item is that if it falls over like that and then you rest, the item will spawn back up here, and then you have to either run back down there and shoot it from that lowered location. But when you shoot it from that lowered location, it gets stuck on the top. So that item can be somewhat annoying to get. And I believe it's a plate stone fire ring, so it helps you with fire damage. This scene actually reminds me a lot of when you wake up with Torrent. So as you saw in the little animation, there's a guy up here, up ahead, next to an altar. And this is a good place to start explaining how covenants work in this game. Covenants give you an allegiance to a certain group or in this game, and you can do that by slotting in a signal here in this slot for your build. Like, say for instance, if I slot in the Warriors of Sunlight, I'm now pledged to Warriors of Sunlight. Now, just slotting that in doesn't particularly do anything, but if you were to play online and you invade another player's area, you can either help them or you can kill them, and they will drop a currency that is specific to this covenant. So there is a specific currency for the Warriors of Sunlight, and there's also a specific altar that you could pray at for that. And if you go to that altar, that specific altar for that particular covenant, you can offer up all that currency that you have, and you can level up with that covenant. If you level up enough, you can get special items like weapons or rings, or sometimes even spells that you can't acquire anywhere else in the game. And that could be kind of particularly important if you are trying to 100% this game, because the game requires you to collect all the spells and all the rings, and those are included. Alright, so this guy is actually going to invite us to his covenant.
Well, what's up? This pit is for hollows, not for the likes of you sane folk. Or perhaps you are a hollow, posing as otherwise? Oh, yes, then we are just fine. It's important to know who you are, but we'll all be mad soon enough. And should you be undead, well, all the more so. Beware, the shackles of the gods are fragile. You might need this. Etch it on your heart if you feel your sanity slipping. Come here to pile up your victims, for that will form your anchor. You'll see when you go mad. They'll be your family. You'll go mad one day, but not today. Take my advice. Use this bone and leave this place. This pit is for hollows, and for the occasional madman fond of piling up victims. You've better things to do, I'd hope.
We'll encounter this guy later on. He's gonna be one of the NPC invaders that tries to kill us, and I'll show you exactly where that happens. But you'll find that you find the War God wooden shield. It's actually a great shield, but I don't find it particularly useful. So, with that being said, we got this area. There's no way to get out of this location unless you use a homeward bone. And he invited us to the covenant named the Mound Makers. So if you invade another player while you are pledged to this covenant, when you kill that player, they'll drop the currency for this covenant, and that currency is called a vertebra shackle. And once you get the vertebra shackle, you could offer it at this sacrificial altar, and if you offer it up, you could level up with this covenant. So that works the same with all of the other covenants. They have a distinct altar and a distinct currency for them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use a homeward bone and head back to Firelink Shrine. So now that we're back in Firelink Shrine, we're gonna go ahead and talk to some of the NPCs that we've unlocked, starting with Corinx. Alright, so this guy is gonna give us a free weapon.
I wish to express my gratitude for trusting a lowly pyromancer and allowing me to gaze upon this majestic flame. As promised, I will impart pyromancies to you. But first, you'll need a flame of your own.
There it is.
Careful you don't burn yourself with it.
And magic and pyromancies and miracles work exactly the same way as they do in Dark Souls. I mean in Elden Ring. You have to first purchase a pyromancy, so we're going to go ahead and purchase the fireball for right now. And you can also upgrade the pyromancy flame because it acts like a weapon. So, Corinx here, he's the only one that can upgrade the pyromancy flame. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and upgrade it. We have enough Titanite shards, so we're just going to go ahead and upgrade it for now.
Do not be gone for long. What is a teacher without a pupil?
And let's just make sure that we exhaust all the dialogue. He gives us a gesture.
To learn pyromancies, you must vow to become my pupil. I know, but such is the way of the world. Respect your elders and so on. And pyromancy, of course, is no exception.
Alright, I think that's all of his dialogue, so we'll go ahead and leave. Something else that we can do is we could talk to Grey Rat now that he's here. And we can go ahead and let him know what happened to Lorreta.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part, huh? Heavens, she was already dead. Thank you. I'm not surprised, though. Almost a relief, really. You can keep the ring as, well, a little trinket of thanks, I suppose.
Poor little guy. He's trying to act strong, but
you can keep the ring.
You'll see that if you go ahead and you reload this area, you'll see that he's actually taking it quite hard. And it's not enough to rest at the bonfire to reload this area. You actually have to travel to the Firelink Shrine again. So we're going to go ahead and do that. To see what else he has to say.
Heavens, she was already dead.
So he gives us a gesture, and he has one more line of dialogue, which we are going to do by doing the exact same thing, just reloading this area.
There you are. I was thinking. You know I'm a petty thief. Well, perhaps I'll go on the prowl. Everyone's dead or hollowed away anyway, right? So I might as well fetch some weapons or treasure for you. Well, what do you say?
So what he's asking us to do is to send him pillaging. And what that means is that he will disappear for Firelink Shrine for a little while. And when he returns to Firelink Shrine, he will have an upgraded inventory. So he will have additional items that he's going to be able to sell to you. Now, you don't have to send him to pillage right away. And if you want to purchase an item from him, you could purchase it from him right away, because he's gonna disappear for a little while, and he will not return until after you defeat a boss. So after you defeat a boss, he will show back up with an upgraded inventory. But since we've already looked at his inventory and I think I have everything I need, we're gonna go ahead and send him away anyways.
Thank you. You will not be disappointed. Grey Rat the Thief was once a well-known name, until I ended up rotting in a cell. Goodbye. I will leave for some time. So long for now. Do stay safe, you hear? Or my efforts will have been for naught.
So long, little buddy. There's one more NPC that's hiding out in this corner here, and he is going to be Yoel of Londor. Let's go ahead and talk to him to see what he has to say to us.
Oh, our champion of Ash, welcome home. This pilgrim, with a debt in death, hardly deserves to behold this divine flame. And I never would have, had you not taken me into your service. I thank you dearly for this, and assure you of my leal service. As I have said, I was once a sorcerer. Alas, the magic of Londor is a far cry from the wonders of Vinheim. But I can teach you what I know. Perhaps, more importantly, I believe that I can help tease out your true strength. We pilgrims of Londor are keenly aware that those branded by the dark sign possess something quite special.
So he gives us a gesture, and he also tells us that he could draw out our strength. And what that means is we're going to go ahead and do that right now. It's basically a free level up. And I'll show you what that does exactly.
Then shall we begin? Bearer of the dark sign, let your true strength shine.
So it seems insignificant that he just leveled us up for free, but actually it's quite a devious plot that he's making us do. Up until this point, if we died, nothing would happen to our appearance. But since we leveled up with him now, you now have something else in your inventory that wasn't there before, and that is the Dark Sigil. And it reads, accumulates curse. We'll go ahead and read this item. A black gaping hole in the flesh that resembles the brand of the undead. The darkness of humanity seeps from this bottomless pitch black hole, the gap filled by the accumulation of the curse. This dark sigil will never heal, but there is a tale told of a firekeeper who returned from the abyss and brought great comfort to the bearer of the curse. So, you'll see that there's a number 1 to the right of this item, and as we continue leveling up with Yoel, he will add an additional dark sigil. And what that means is that every time we die, we will accumulate hollowness, and our appearance is going to deteriorate every time that we die, and we're going to become what they know as a hollow, which is kind of like a zombie looking guy. We never go full zombie in this game, so you always retain your sentience. But in essence, you could go full zombie if you died a lot of times. But that never happens in this game. You just start to look more like a zombie. And the more of these dark sigils that we have, the faster we will turn into a zombie. So for now, we're not going to continue to level up with Yoel until later on in the game, so that you can be able to see what happens to us as we die. Also, he gives us free levels, so it's beneficial to level up later on when it becomes harder to level up. Alright, so now we could go back to the Undead Settlement.
Ooh, yet to give in, eh? Good. The Firekeeper must be twitching with delight. But what do you really know about these Lords of Cinder? These supposed legends? Let's take Aldrich for one. A right and proper cleric. Only he developed a habit of devouring men. He ate so many that he bloated like a drowned pig, then softened into sludge. So they stuck him in the Cathedral of the Deep, and they made him a Lord of Cinder, not for virtue, but for might. Such as a lord, I suppose. But here I ask, do we have a sodding chance?
This guy is so emo. We're gonna talk to one more guy. He's hiding out up here in the corner.
Unkindled, are we? And fast on the trail of the Lords absconded? Then these red eyes are for you.
So he gives us the cracked red eye orb, and what that does is it lets us invade other players' worlds and kill them for the currency of your covenant. So he's pretty much like Varric, the white mask dude from Elden Ring.
Use them to pillage embers and briefly heighten your strength for your duty. What else are unkindled ashes good for?
We'll come back to him later. Before we leave, we'll level up real quick.
Very well, then take. Farewell, Ashen.
And don't forget to upgrade your flask with the blacksmith here. And you could do that by going here.
Good, wasn't it?
Reinforced flasks. If you have any in your inventory, you can upgrade. And also, you need to upgrade it on the bonfire right here. And you do that by burning undead bone shards. And what that enables you to do is that you get more healing by burning these undead bone shards. So we're going to spawn in on the cliff underside, and we're going to make our way through the rest of this tutorial. Alright, so we are going to head back out in this direction. That's where we unlocked the Pyromancer guy. And we can go ahead and slot in this Pyromancer flame. And also you have to choose the spell that you use with it at the bonfire. So now we have the Pyromancer flame, which is this, and I could throw fireballs, which are pretty useful. We'll get to them later. There's an item back here. Just be careful because the little guy shows up right behind you. Make sure he doesn't make you fall off the cliff. Now from here, I want to unlock the next checkpoint, which is not too far. It's actually down in this direction. which can be a little hard because there's a lot of enemies that start off here. There's another dog inside of this archway. Oh. Alright, we're gonna head down into the sewers. And there's a few rats here. They don't do a lot of damage, but they have a lot of poise damage, so they could continually stagger you if there's a lot of them. Up ahead, hiding inside of that fog, there's also a big rat. So you could put your Pyromancer flame and just chuck it at them. Ouch. He's not too hard, as long as you know that he's there. And we're gonna go up the stairs to unlock the next flame. Now, up until this point, I haven't died, so I'm still in the state called Ember. And once you go across this bridge here, an invader NPC is gonna invade your world and try to kill you. So if you're low on health, I would recommend trying to get to the flame as soon as possible, which is right here. You want to grab this checkpoint, and the invader is going to invade you right now. Before he does that, I'm going to run and get this crystal lizard as he's invading me, so it doesn't disappear. Here's the crystal lizard. And the invader is right around the corner there. He's in purple. I want him to come over in this direction so that we don't lure in that big guy over there. Now be careful with this guy. He tends to parry your attacks when he has his shield in his hand. So it's better to attack him when he's two-handing his weapon. He can be kind of annoying. He has 2 Estus flasks, and he also has an ability to use a spell that heals him. Just be careful when he uses that spell. The spell that he uses also heals you if you step inside of it. So just take your time with him. There we go, we got him. Alright. So before we continue, we're going to go ahead and rest. And there's that vertebra shackle, by the way. That's the currency for the Mound Maker covenant, which I am slotted into right now. We'll get our all flask back. And we are going to actually... we're going to go upstairs real quick to backtrack a little. Now what we're doing here is we're backtracking into this area, which is part of the area that we could have gone at the beginning of this level. Be careful with this lady. Because it's a narrow space, it's easy for her to start staggering you. So, I'll show you where it is that we could have ended up. Watch out for this guy on the right, coming out of the doorway. And there's a guy here hiding in the rafters too, just be aware of him. He still got me. We have a whip now, which is not very good in this game actually. I don't really like the whip. And this is the guy that I told you guys to remember. He's the red-eyed enemy. And that entrance there is the hallway that we met him in last time. We could go ahead and just take him out from behind. And that's the hallway. This is where we would have ended up anyways. But there's a few items here that we could still pick up. If we head in this direction, we could grab this item. And we could jump down below. Just be careful not to fall because it's going to try to push you. To grab this item. And then there's one more item if you head out in this direction. Onto this roof. On that balcony there. So this is another running jump location. You have to jump as you're facing that roof area there. And you can make it pretty easily. A rusted coin. So from here we're going to actually go back to our backtrack a little here. And what I like to do is I like to go and talk to the giant that we saw in the distance. Those rats were following me. Alright, we're gonna head up in this direction. And we're gonna actually cross this bridge here. Just be careful. There's a lot of enemies here. We're gonna avoid fighting them for right now. Those two guys in red, they're gonna throw their pots at you from a distance. Just avoid them. And we're gonna go all the way through to that tower in the distance. There's a doorway there. Once we pass that doorway, these guys are still gonna probably be aggroed on us. So we're gonna just run past them. Ouch. Alright. We're gonna go all the way past them and into the doorway. Now, like I said, they're probably gonna be still aggroed on us, but just ignore them and run past the elevator. Once you get past the elevator, they'll stay aggroed on you for a little while, but they will leave eventually. Just stay right here and use the elevator as a cover. And they will just start to back away. This guy is not leaving. There we go. Oh no. We might as well just kill him. He's alone now, so let's just get into this open area here and we'll take him on right here. Oh no. He killed us. We're gonna have to make our way back over here. It's usually not this hard. They usually leave you alone right away. But we're gonna start off at a different location. Let's go ahead and start off at the cliff underside. If we start off here, we can get there faster. just by jumping down here, letting all these guys walk away. Alright, so we're gonna do that again. And my goal is to talk to this chubby guy that came up from the elevator. Just gotta make sure that they didn't follow you. See, usually they don't aggro that much to you.
Oh. Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegwart of Katarina. To be honest, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Have you ever walked near a white birch only to be struck by a great arrow? Well, if I'm not mistaken, they come from this tower. Whoever it is, I'm sure I can talk some sense into them. But I have to find a way up, and that's just the trouble. This lift only goes down, you see, and... Well, that doesn't get me anywhere. This lift only goes down. With a little warming up, I've got to use my...
So he's actually giving us a clue as to how this lift works. He says it only goes in one direction, but if you get on the lift and then get off of it right away, a second lift will show up from up above, and we can head to the upper portions of the tower. And that's where we're gonna head to talk to this giant. This giant is actually pretty nice. He helps us out in several parts of the game. So just go ahead and make peace with him.
Who are you? I help anytime.
And just as good as that, he is our friend now. So now we could just head back downstairs, and we'll head to the bottom of the tower now. So just like we did before, we're gonna send the lift up and then use the second lift to go downstairs. Now up until this point we haven't fought the area boss, and we will fight the area boss, but I'm gonna end the video at the next checkpoint. I just want to show you how to take out this next enemy pretty easily. He's particularly hard, especially because he's very fast, and he has a lot of damage. So a lot of players will have trouble with him if they face him head on. What I like to do is I like to run past him and open the door that's behind him, and he will stay inside of the archway, and you can hit him from afar. So we're gonna go ahead and do it in that way. Just in case you're having trouble with him. That's him right there. He's actually a knight from Londor, but we are gonna head out to this direction, go past the door, and he gets stuck on the inside here. So we can light this bonfire right now. Just in case we die, we'll spawn back in. And this is where you're going to use your ranged weapons. You can either use your ranged weapons or you could use their fire bombs if you've accumulated all of them. Just spam it at him. Alright, so you can also use your Pyromancy. And there you go. Easy win. He drops the Irithel straight sword, and it's actually not a bad sword. It just scales badly later on in later levels. It doesn't scale as well, but it does have frost damage, and the frost damage works exactly the same way as it does in Elden Ring. It has a frost buildup, and after that buildup reaches 100%, it does an initial burst damage, and then it debuffs the enemy, so they take, I think, 10% more damage with all your attacks. And it could be further increased with fire damage. You just take the frost damage off with a fire weapon, and then just continue to spam this and get another burst damage. But later on in the game, it just scales very badly. It scales with, you see, with dexterity and strength, but there's plenty of other better weapons. But if you want to start off with this weapon, it's not a bad weapon to start off with. I'm gonna stick with the fire longsword for right now, though. So we're gonna go ahead and end this video here. We're not gonna head down in this direction yet. We're gonna finish off the 2 bosses that are left in the Undead Settlement. So we will see you again in a later date. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.